We all knew this was going to happen, and yet this still leaves a very bitter taste in my mouth. Would I actually call this the worst episode of The Young Justice because of this? Well, no. It's just that you can feel the despair so greatly that even though this episode is actually pretty good, it is so sour for someone like me because of how much the despair is strong in this one. The angry enemy found the despair reviewer, and yes, this is the latest Young Justice episode. Here we have some interesting reveal. First of all, Dr. Helga Jace was in the end really evil. All along, she was a mad scientist. All her talk about protect my children and sleeping with Jefferson and all that stuff, she only did that because she wanted to emotionally manipulate Jefferson, as well as because he was a meta gene. Because she turns out to have a fetish, or at least a obsession with people with the meta gene. Also, Halo is apparently not dying. Well, if she's not dying, that's all too good, but she only made that lie because she wanted to check her DNA and to make sure if she really did have a meta gene. But when she found out that Halo was what she truly was, uh, um, a human body brought back to life through a soul of a mother box, she became so very disappointed. And that is why she was so upset with Brion and Halo getting back together. Because she considers Halo to be nothing more than a walking corpse. In a way, she is correct, but also not correct. It's the personality of Gabrielle is dead, but Halo still lives on. So yeah, this is very heartbroken for the Markovian children who she kidnaps in this one. But that is not the deepest parts of the despair. The first despair of this episode begins when Deathstroke confronts Tara about her very backwater um, news. And here is explains something that I think was actually suspected. One could actually ask, why would Tara want to betray her brother or anything more? Well, maybe because they were very neglectful of her. In fact, as I said before, she was kidnapped. It's not stated by who, but Helga, now that Helga was mad, maybe she was the one who did that. And her family did nothing. And Deathstroke is very crazy. Well, not very. He is not shy about pointing that out. He points out that that where were your family when you were taken away? And apparently Brion was once supposed to watch her, but he went out clubbing. Is that why he has always been so desperate in finding her? He blames himself for this. This also creates a little bit of hypocrisy in Brion. He's saying he criticized people for having no patience, when all in all, that is just an excuse over the fact that well, it had nothing to do with patience, but all in all, this could all have been prevented if he did not go clubbing with friends. Either way, Jefferson also confronts the members of the Justice League when he actually finds out that he puts two and two together and discovers that some parts of the Justice League, as well as the team, are working together. And Beast Boy is also not happy with this. What makes this surprising is that Jefferson is actually the one who takes this the hardest. Yes, Beast Boy also takes this the hardest, but Jefferson is literally blowing up with anger over all of this. I'm actually surprised that he is the one who's taking this the most severely. I guess because, as he says, people need to trust each other. And this, unfortunately, is overheard by Tara, because Deathstroke is pointing out that heroes cannot be trusted. And now I think, and once she hears this, she actually agrees with Deathstroke on everything that he has said. Very likely also will report into Deathstroke that there is an anti-light. It doesn't make it any better that Bruce, who also is here to see Dick, is not apologizing for his actions because he put the mission first, as well as no one in the team is legitimately sorry about this, because this was needed. And Barbara, she is the one who is actually saying the words no one can talk back to, surprisingly. Also, here this one shows that Beast Boy knows she is crippled, so why doesn't Artemis know? Something is not right here. Either way, Beast Boy of course says that the whole point of the Outsider is to give people hope. So when he is saying that, Barbara gets surprisingly mad and is saying that you challenged Granny Goodness and Lex Luthor in the opening. We challenged the light on the back side. Basically, I think she's saying that we protected you from not going overboard, and what we are doing is no different than you. It's just that we have done it behind everyone's light, where you have done it in front, making yourself an easy target for Lex Luthor, which surprisingly Beast Boy cannot argue against. However, later on, when Bruce is having one of those moments when she questions everything, Barbara pulls a similar one on Bruce, which is very surprising. I mean, what she's saying here is that it's worth noting that the people that Bruce took to create his Batman Incorporated are mostly made out of people that know him. In fact, his Robin squad. By the way, we see Tim Drake without his shades this time. To tell you the truth, I didn't recognize him. Beast Boy is pointing out that when Cassie finds this out, it's over between them. And, well, either way, Barbara is pointing out that he created his Batman Incorporated, made out of mostly people that he trusts, or trusts, will not say no to him. Showing that even though Batman's intentions were good somewhat, now with Wonder Woman in space, no one can really talk back to him because Wonder Woman is so far ahead and not so much involved in all of this. Meaning that Batman is a little bit of a control freak in these situations. Either way, Brion and Tara gets tricked and kidnapped by Dr. Helga Jace, who is taken to her mentor together with Halo, which is Ultra Humanite. And it's here that she reveals her true colors, although only thanks to Granny Goodness pull brainwashing chip on Brion and Tara, as well as being in the X-Pit. Because it turns out that Granny Goodness wants Halo, who is the key to the anti-life equation, because according to her, the old gods may have sealed the key to the anti-life equation, but Halo, being a human girl with a mother box soul, may very well be the key to open it. So Tara breaks free of the brainwashing thanks to a chip here. So Ultra Humanite and Helga has just to flee after a brief moment. But when because Ultra Humanite has a larger role here than he has ever had before. In fact, we cannot fully hear him talk. It's still voiced by Greg Weisman, I mind you. But here is where things really takes a turn for the spare, as Ultra Humanite reports of the fact that the dark side will soon have the key to the anti-life equation. Vandal Savage actually breaks a tablet and shows legitimately shock. Yes, the man that had lived for so many centuries, the man who hardly ever show any shock, at most just tranquil fury, actually showed fear here. Because what Darkseid just gained was not part of the plan, and very likely their partnership is now in danger. What makes things even more confusing is that Gretchen Good hands over Halo to Granny Goodness. Yes, there are two Granny Goodness. Reasons yet unexplained, although Granny Goodness has a huskier voice than Gretchen does. All this at least explains what Orion said about Metron said about this. They are the same, and yet they are not. There are two. The question is, though, who is Gretchen Good? Is she Desaad in a disguise, or just a clone that Granny Goodness created, or something else? Regardless, when Tara and Brione gets back, they report everything. Jefferson, already emotional from the betrayal by the team, can just walk away from everything, threatening everyone to not follow him after having his heart broken. The episode ends with Tara reporting back to Deathstroke saying the heroes cannot be trusted. The despair has won. So yeah, a very upsetting episode. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Ultra Humanite talking more may have actually been one of the better key parts of this. But there were so many cameos by a lot of characters, and yet they were very silent in this episode. I guess it was something of budget restraints, which was very strange. Helga Yates being evil all along, I guess in the end that makes sense. No bigger complaint. But Halo has been brainwashed and handed over to Granny Goodness. She is the key to the anti-life equation. That is the real upsetting thing. But now Tara will truly betray the team. She was at first not going to, but I guess this gives her a nice spin on the Judas contract. And also, Deathstroke is a little bit of a manipulator, although from the training it does appear that Tara was legitimately believing that he cared for her. We all know from story-wise that he did not. He's just that very good at emotional manipulation. What else is there to say? Well, yeah, Barbara got some times to shine here and really pulled words that no one can argue against. But yeah, I have no idea what awaits us next. Next week, once again, one episode. I dislike that. But the episodes after that will be 3. We are very close to the end, and I have a very big feeling it's not gonna end on a happy note. Give me your thoughts if you have any.